Hey Classy Career Girl Network, it's Anna today. Welcome to day one of our My Startup Story movement. I'm really excited. You should have all received an email from me this morning that had the worksheets that go along with day one. So if you did not receive those worksheets, make sure you're signed up. You have to be signed up at www.corporaterescueplan.com/story. So if you're joining me here with me today, let me know you're with me. Say hi, say where you're from, where you're joining us from. And our topic right now that we're going to touch on is all about the fear of putting yourself out there. Because I don't know about you guys, but day one's challenge was uploading a picture of your office and then sharing what inspired you. So you guys know I'm doing this challenge right along with you. I posted mine first last night, right when this went live. And I also, so this is my big fear, right? We're starting here with like being totally honest. I could post on our Classy Career Girl business fan page like any hour of the day over and over again. I have no problem posting on our business page, right? But for me, it's always been difficult to post my stories, my thoughts, everything on my personal Facebook page. But I did last night. So that was my like big getting over my fear. But let's go back. Why do I have this fear? I hope you guys can relate to me here because I think it's very similar to what you guys have been posting, some of your fears as well. It's really this scary fear of putting yourself out there. And it's the fear of what other people will think. And for me, on my personal Facebook page, it's scary because these are all my like close family and friends and like people I went to like middle school with, right? So for me, that has probably always been one of my biggest fears of putting myself out there is like, what are those people gonna think that I'm close to? What are my family and friends gonna think? My best friends? What are my parents gonna think? What are my like cousins gonna think? Like that's all the stuff that always drives me crazy and gets me scared, right? Of putting myself out there. So I'm right there with you guys. I'm going through this all myself. I know, the most important thing, I think, when it comes to your fear and facing your fears, especially of what other people are going to think, you have to kind of get out of the mindset of like yourself and you have to start thinking of others. And so I know I shared my story on my profile, right? And not everyone is my ideal client, which on my profile page, my personal profile page, which is why I don't share that much there because most people that I'm friends with are not my ideal clients. And that's why I've created like this community here where I can like share openly of like everything that really matters to me. But the most important thing is that sharing on my personal page opens the door to maybe someone I'm friends with that I could help. And you never really know who your story is going to impact and who your story is going to help. So I wanted to start this movement off with that is that it's kind of getting out of this mindset of us, like worrying about, is our business going to fail? What are other people going to think? And start to think more about serving others and providing value to others and helping others. And by our stories, it can really help other people too. So we started this movement. I have never done this, my startup story movement at all. It came to me a couple weeks ago after I had done another challenge that I was kind of going through. And I was like, I love these challenges. I love writing out kind of my story and what's really been, what has changed my life through my stories, and I noticed that it was helping people. And people, as I was writing out my story last month of kind of the things that have happened in my life over the last 6 years, you can, if you're interested in what that is, it's on my Anna Runyon personal Instagram account. But as I was writing my story, I was doing this every day, people started saying, wow, this is really brave. You're impacting me. You're helping me through this. I've gone through these same challenges. And I started to realize we needed to put something like this, my startup story, together so you guys are getting out there, sharing your stories and impacting and providing value and helping others as well. And overall, this is all brave. This is not easy. This is definitely not easy. There's a lot of fears that are associated with this. So think of that. All of you guys, there's been 11 people so far, I think 12, one just came in, that have posted your picture of where you work today and what inspires you about your office. Super easy today, right? I wanted to start things off very simple. We can do this. But even for me, it's still scary even to show like your office sometimes to people that you're friends with or that don't even know you. So that's my story. And today I wanted to go over the 3 biggest fears that I've seen come up and kind of I've gone through all these fears myself. Every fear you guys have had, I've had myself. So that's why I want to talk through them today, kind of some steps that I have made to help me get over those fears. And yesterday I asked you guys, what are those biggest fears that you have getting over putting yourself out there? Like, what are some things that are standing in your way? And I consolidated them this morning. That's what I've been doing all morning. And I found 3 major themes that have come up. So that's what I'm going to cover right now. It looks like we have a lot of you guys joining us so far. Hi Vaso, hi Velma, hi Hillary. Of course, John is with us too. So let us know where you're from again if you're just joining us. And we are going to dive into these fears. Let me know what your fear is to starting a business, to putting yourself out there as well. Okay, so let's dive in. The first big fear, I've already kind of touched on this a little bit, that has come up a lot is the fear of what other people are going to think and the trolls online, right? So this is something that I have definitely faced. When I quit my job, there was a lot of family members that thought I was very crazy. And then John quit his job, and then both of us were running this business. And people thought we were very, very crazy then, right? It's not just me. Now it's like a family business. Like, who are these people? They're crazy. And I think that was the pivotal moment for me where I realized, like, okay, I have this bigger purpose. There's a lot more women that I need to serve. And so my mission became more important than what other people were going to think of me. And so that was really, really important. But here's my tip for you. If you're scared of like what your parents are going to say, what your husband's going to say, like all that stuff that comes up, something I wish I would have had is a better plan to show them exactly how this business was going to work and the income that I expected. So if I had put together a solid business plan that I could share with my parents and talk them through like what I was doing, the problem was they had no idea what I was doing. They didn't know they thought I was just this blogger. They didn't know that I had a solid business plan and business idea that I was going to run with and make happen. So I think that's my biggest tip for you is to really do those numbers, do the budget, do your financial forecast. We're coming up on 2017, so this is a great time to kind of put that together. Then you have some data behind you to show someone. You're a real business owner, right? You have a business plan. And I know I teach a lot about this in Corporate Rescue Plan, but it's so important to really have that solid plan so you are more confident in what you're doing and you can also speak to it better to other people. So I wish I had sat down with my parents and I would have talked through, okay, I'm going to make an income and this is how I'm going to do it, instead of just letting all them thinking something and me getting mad. I wish I would have just sat down and had that conversation. Faso says, that's a great tip, Anna. It shows that you are thinking like a true professional. I try to be. Hey, our brand name is Classy Career Goals, so we are always trying to be classy and keep it classy here. Okay, so the other thing that falls into this category is the trolls online. I saw a lot of you guys scared about getting some crazy bad feedback from other people online. And I know this has come up. Anna Harrison in our group too, she posted something a week or so ago about a nasty comment she got when she posted something on LinkedIn too. So this is just something that goes with the territory of putting yourself out there. But I will be honest, like, it's not that much. I don't get that many trolls. Of course, you get some here and there that are leaving spammy comments, and I'm deleting those every day. But there isn't anyone that's really, really been excruciatingly negative. Of course, there's here and there things like people don't like that you're selling. They want a lot of free stuff. So I've had a lot of that where it's like, I thought this was free and now you're trying to sell me on your course, and that's just, they're not my ideal client, right? Like at some point, how much free stuff do I give away? Like this challenge is free, my daily blog is free. There's like free articles and free guides and PDFs everywhere, right? So at some point though, you're going to have to make that sale. Not everyone is going to be super happy that you are a business owner and you have to make a sale to survive, right? Not everything is free in this world. And so I think for me, figuring out that those people are not my ideal clients, if they're continually wanting free, they're not my ideal clients anyways. And you have to be so focused on your ideal client and serving them and attracting them too. So that's why it's really important to put those blinders on. And, you know, you can be a little upset for a little bit if someone says you spell. That's one thing that happened to me. I had someone, I'll talk about this later in a different one too. Because I had someone who noticed that there was misspellings in one of my blog articles. But unfortunately, it was a blog article that I had someone else transcribe for me. So I think another fear that came up a lot too, and this wasn't the one I was going to cover, but was having people help you in delegating things and the perfectionism thing. That's scary too, right? So you're going to make mistakes and people are not going to be happy. This woman was not happy that I had a blog post out there with spelling mistakes in it. I was not happy about that either. I am like the anal person who hates when there's a spelling mistake. So that bummed me out, but I think it's growing. I mean, that was like a year or two into my journey of realizing, okay, if I delegate this to someone, I still have to review their work, right? Or maybe, you need to have someone else do that as well. And so that's something that's really important. But let me make sure I covered everything. So you need to think of the people that need to hear your message. So don't be as worried about what other people are going to think or the trolls. Just focus in on who needs to hear the message that you have to share. Not everyone is your ideal client. You don't serve the entire world. And more than anything, you have to be confident in your purpose, your vision, like where you're headed. And you'll be able to forget about those nasty comments because you just stay focused on where you're headed and your vision. And then sometimes you make mistakes. We all do. Okay. So the other fear is that you won't be able to monetize what you are doing and stand out from the competition. Okay, so this one came out a lot. There's just a lot of fear that you're not going to succeed. So this is the importance of putting together the business model and putting together your business plan and making sure that it will work. But more importantly than anything, it's diving into what your ideal clients need and solving their problems. And so, yeah, it's difficult to have these fears when you're not out in the market and seeing what your clients' needs are and how you can fulfill them and serve them. If you're just in your office, which I've been seeing some very pretty pictures of all of your guys' offices today, but if you're just sitting there by yourself, you're going to have that fear, right? Because you're not doing the work, you're not like talking to your clients and seeing what they need. So more than anything at all, if you can uncover what your clients really, really need, you're going to have a profitable business. If you know what their problem is and you're serving them and you're providing a valuable offer to them, you're going to succeed. And the other part of it too is you have to have a different mindset. This is like a big thing. We're going to talk about this. There's something fun coming up at the end of December. I'm going to tell you guys more about that tomorrow. But in this fun thing I have for you coming up on December 29th, mark your calendars. In this fun thing that I have coming up, we're going to dive deep into uncovering what your ideal client is, like who he or she is, and uncovering what their needs and what their desires are, and creating an offer that's going to sell to them. It's going to be irresistible to them. So all of those things are really, really important. But here's the most important thing. It's your mindset. So if you are scared that you're going to fail, it's like you continue to think those negative thoughts and it's going to happen, right? There's like a great quote. I can't think of it right now, but if you keep thinking that over and over again, then that's going to be what's going to happen. So it's really important that you're surrounding yourself with really positive people that are uplifting you and are supporting you. But then also that you start thinking that this is a non-negotiable. Like you are going to succeed no matter what. So 7 years ago when I started, I had no idea that this is what my business would look like today, but I knew I was going to succeed no matter what. So it's all about taking those baby steps, that imperfect action, that first step forward. And when I started, like, I didn't know if I was going to succeed as a coach, and as we've gone here, things have very much changed. I don't do much coaching anymore. Now I do more teaching like this because I've discovered I like teaching way, way, way more. But I think it's important to know that I didn't stop at anywhere. Like, I didn't get down on anything. I didn't let my fears get, in control of me. I just kept going and kept changing and kept like tweaking my business so that it could not only be profitable, but I could enjoy it more as well. But over that whole cycle of these last 7 years, like, it's literally non-negotiable. Like, people think I'm crazy. That's fine. We have, a tough month. That's okay. Personal life things happen. I have a beautiful daughter, and that changed everything as well. But there's always been this like drive of it's gonna happen no matter what. So I saw a lot of those fears that you won't be able to monetize. Well, we're going to figure out a way to create a business that you can monetize, right? Maybe what you're thinking about right now, you need to be talking to your ideal clients. You need to be seeing what they really want. You put a beta version out there, right? Like, start selling something that you've created and see if there's a market for that. So when I started, I put a $97 course out there that I hadn't even created yet. It was in my head. I knew I could create it. You guys know I love doing this stuff, right? I love teaching. So I knew that I could do it. I just needed to see if there was a market for it. It was called the Get Unstuck course, and someone bought it. So then I created the course. But if you can go out there, you start practicing your skills, I know we had someone else say they're afraid of not being a good enough life coach. And that's where just practicing comes into play. It's talking to people over and over again, doing a lot of free work with people, offering your services for free, and getting that skill set and improving and learning. And most importantly, like, I can't even tell you how many free coaching sessions I've done. I don't do them anymore, but I have done so many, and all of them helped me get so much clearer on who I'm here to serve and what their needs and their desires and their challenges are. So it's only going to help you. Yes, you're offering your services for free, but you are like gaining so much wisdom just by hearing their frustrations and their goals and where they want to be. And then you're matching up what your skills are and what your talents are and how you can help them. Okay, so let's make sure I covered everything I want to talk about. You can also build up your business on the side of your day job as well. That's something that, is possible. There's a lot of time in the day. You might think there's not, but there is. And, there's a lot of clients that you can work with in the evenings. Most people have full-time jobs, day jobs, right? So there is ways that you can do work. You can sell products in the evenings, early mornings. Also, creating your business plan and a profitable business model is going to really help you out as well. And then monetizing is all about testing. We talked about this, right? Selling that beta version before it's ready, talking to your customers, understanding their needs and their desires. And if you think it's expensive to start, it's not. That's a roadblock, right? So think of ways, and by being in this group, you could start asking us questions. Think of ways that you can start very affordably. I know I started with a free blog. Like, I did not pay any money to start in the very beginning. You can start a free email list. You can take orders for free on PayPal. So I'm challenging you guys, if you think it's expensive to start, it's really also all about the numbers. Putting your expenses on paper, your forecast of what you want to make, and then asking for help, seeing what other people's expenses are. What are the expenses of running a business, the type of business that you want to run? What should you budget for your expenses? And then we also have to talk about the competition. So this is something that came up a lot too, that you guys are scared that you're not going to be able to offer a product or a service that is different from the rest. Like, how are you going to be able to stand out when there's so much other competition out there doing the exact same thing, right? So, story time. I started my blog in 2010, and I had the same fear. Like, There's so many other bloggers out there. There's so many other job search people. There's career coaches that have way more expertise than me. There's all these, leaders and authors and all this stuff. Like, what would make me different? And let's talk about this. How many blogs and businesses are still around today in 2016 from when I started back in 2010? So all those competitors that I was like analyzing and like getting jealous over back in 2010, there is one blog that is still there that was doing something similar to what they were doing then. Most of them have just quit. So, or they've moved on, they've done different things. And so I think the point of me telling this story is that your consistency, if you just keep moving forward, keep doing it over and over again, other people are going to pivot, they're going to change, they're going to quit, they're not going to be able to stay up like for the long term. So that's one thing, is like you really have to put your blinders on. You have to do the competitive analysis when you start to analyze, what's out there in the market, what's not out there in the market, like what are your competitors doing well, but where are they missing? And that's really where you bring in your unique experiences, your skills, and you add them to your business. You be yourself. We're not copying anyone else here. I'm a huge fan of putting those blinders on, unsubscribing to as many emails as you can, and really focusing on why you are here to serve and what you are meant to do and how you can serve and how you can help. And that is like 100% what we try and do here in the Classy Career Network, in all of our membership sites that we run. I am not a part of like any other Facebook groups out there, right? I'm a part of one that's amazing, but that's with my mentor. So, but other than that, like this is it, right? Like I am solely focused on serving in the Classy Career Network and helping you guys out as much as possible. So I know there's other people out there, but you just have to really focus and put on those blinders. So, okay. So you have to think about what makes you different and what makes someone connect with you over someone else. Like what can you add that's different? And you guys all have skills and experiences from the past that you bring with you, right? I have 8 years of consulting experience for a big corporation where I learned so much, and I bring all that to what I do today, right? And that's experience that other people don't have as well. So think back to your corporate experience, what you've done in the past, bring all of that into your business, bring all that into your about page and what you do, and add your personality and your unique touch. The other thing that has helped me with this one is the Strengths Finder. So big shout out to my mastermind partner, Becky Hammonds. She is a Gallup certified strengths coach. She was actually the first 100 Gallup certified strengths coach. So big shout out to her. I don't know if she's here today, but that's another thing that has really helped me with the competition, because I know that, and I should figure out what the number is, but I don't think the number is very, very unlikely that your 5 strengths anyone else will have. So me as a business owner, I am like super pumped about my strengths. Like I am super excited. Like I feel like over the last 7 years, like I am doing what I meant to do, because all of my strengths come together to make me able to run Classy Career and do it amazingly, right? So that's another thing. Like when I look at competition, which I very rarely do, but when I see other people out there doing something similar, I know that I have these strengths, and that makes me confident in what I'm providing and what I'm giving and how I'm serving, because they're very, very unique. There's not many people, or if any, I'm going to have to ask Becky what that number is, that have those same 5 strengths, let alone like my number 1 strength. So my number 1 strength is focus. Like I can be very, very extremely focused on things, and that has really, really helped me succeed. So little stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have taken the Strengths Finder, but doing some reflection on who you are, some analysis, and really being confident in what those strengths are that you bring to the table as a business owner and providing your services. Affirmations are really good as well as the book The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. That's another really good one. That book taught me, because this goes back to the whole mindset thing, that book taught me to write like my goals and affirmations, which are like positive sayings like, I will grow my business. I will find a client today. I will help people. I will serve people today. Like those types of positive affirmations, putting them on note cards, reading them over and over again, reading them in the morning, reading them at night. That's really, really important, is just to keep yourself, you almost kind of have to keep yourself in this safe bubble of positivity, because as business owners and CEOs and founders, like that's so important. We are leading a team, not only like are we leading, obviously we're leading people on social media, we're leading people who are following and reading our blogs, leading people in these Facebook groups, leading our team, and we have these amazing interns. Like that's so important that we maintain this bubble of positivity and these affirmations and this, strong voice that we can do this and we can succeed. Okay, so the third fear is that you have a fear, this is what I heard a lot, fear of not making enough money to contribute to your family budget. Anyone have this fear? Let me know in the comments. So this is something, it all comes down to the numbers. So this comes down to just putting a budget together. So understanding so carefully what your family budget is. So I have a feeling that you guys who are saying that this is your fear might not know how much you need on a monthly basis. So this is really important to put together a budget for your family. So first of all, you know exactly what you need to bring in. You need to know exactly what your family needs to survive in. You need to have a conversation with your spouse, maybe your kids, be very clear on what expenses you do have. Look back, we always use mint.com. Look back at the last 6 months, put a budget together, and start to analyze maybe where some expenses are cut. So here's a big thing. I just did a training on this in CRP lately. And here's the thing that I'm seeing. So there's a lot of Facebook ads out there that are like, you're going to have a 6-figure launch, you're going to make $1 million, like all that stuff is out there, right? So I think there's this vision out there of that's going to be what happens when you quit your job and you start a business. But the real life story, this is why my startup story is alive, right? Is that it requires a lot of work and a lot of decreasing expenses first. So my backstory, I was just on a podcast called it was the His and Her Money podcast, all about our experiences paying off debt and now getting to where we are today. But it's so important to start decreasing those expenses before you quit as well. So what we did and what we recommend is that you start trying to live off half your salary, okay? So that helps you kind of figure out, okay, what expenses can I start cutting? What isn't as important? And then you start building up that savings plan too. So I'm not a financial advisor, of course. Don't quote me on this. I'm just telling you what worked for us so that when you do quit, so even though my husband and I both quit our jobs and we had a 6-month-old, we knew we were going to be okay. Even though my parents thought we were crazy, our family thought we were crazy, everyone thought we were crazy, we knew we would be just fine because we had at least a 6-month savings plan. So it was like, we knew we could put the work in and make it happen. By that time, we had paid off all of our debt and we had a 6-month savings plan. So if you're starting to think about if that's kind of like a scary fear for you, start putting some action. Maybe you need to take a little bit of like a week off of growing your business and just look at your numbers. Just focus in on your numbers, create a budget, look at what expenses, are popping up that maybe you can lower. The book that basically saved our life was The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. So that's a big tip for you. Even though you might not want to think that starting a business is you're going to have to decrease your expenses, or, you want to make just as much as you make now at your day job. Just know that it could take some time to get to that point. So you just want to give yourself that safety net so you're not worried. So doing that will pave the way for your business to thrive. Trust me. Right now too, the other thing you want to think of as well when you're planning out your finances to quit your job is you also want to think about having money so that you can invest in your business. So that's really important as you grow. It's not just when you just start. Like I just said, you can start for free, right? Like I started my blog for free, but I continually, like I would rather, this sounds funny, but I would rather invest in my business than I would going to the mall and going on a shopping spree. Now, maybe not you, you're probably not like me, but for me, that's way important because I know the returns are gonna like multiply, right? If we can spend, some money on a better marketing system or email system. In the very beginning of my first 6 months of business, I hired a virtual assistant. And so I knew that that was like an investment in my business and that like saved everything for me. Laura has been working with us for now 5 years and she's amazing. Big shout out to Laura if you're listening. So I don't know where my business would be if I hadn't continually invested in a bookkeeper, in support and helping us, little stuff here and there. We're able to get the education, take the courses that we know are going to help our business succeed as well. So think about that too. As you grow, you want to have that money set aside to be able to invest back in your business, which is another great reason to really reduce your expenses when you get started as well. So this is the real life story. This is the real my startup story of starting a business. It's not what people want to say on a Facebook ad for you guys to click their button, right? But this is real life here. We know that there's a lot of these fears and we have to talk about them. So I'd really recommend putting that budget together, talking to your family, being on the same page, really figuring out how much you need to earn every month. So doing the calculations back, what do you need to earn a year? What do you need to earn a month? What do you need to earn a week? All that is really important so you know what you need to make. And figuring out if you can start living on half that salary while still building that cushion for your savings. Okay, so those are my 3 biggest fears. We have fear number 1, fear of what others will think and the trolls out there. So I hope I helped you kind of get over those fears. We're not going to let them take control of us anymore, right? We have a purpose, we have a mission, we're here to serve. Second fear was that you're not able to monetize what you're doing and stand out from the competition. And that's really about bringing all of you into your business, your unique experiences, and who you are, as well as really, 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 I can't emphasize enough, understanding your ideal client and solving their problem and really, really knowing what their challenge is. And then our third one was the fear of not making enough money to contribute to your family budget. And so that was really all about starting to really analyze what your family budget is and figuring out what you need to make in order to meet your family budget and really doing those calculations. So for me, I knew I needed to make a certain amount per week. And so I knew I had to talk to, I would book free coaching sessions for one day. I would book like 8 to 12 people per day. I would have that many calls in one day because I knew that's how I was going to meet my goal for that week. So it's just backtracking. Like once you know how much you need to make per week, it's just really figuring out what do you need to do that week in order to make those sales that you need to make. Okay, so like I said, tomorrow I'll be telling you a little bit more about our December 29th thing that you're going to save the date for because I'm really excited about that. I'm going to check out who's with me here today. Thanks guys for joining us. Let's see, we have, oh, this is freezing on me. Oh, here we go. Hey Velma, hey Hillary, CRP members in the house. We got Vaso Anna, hi, from Athens, Greece, awesome. We have Kayla, welcome guys, Anna Larson, welcome, Ella's with us, Kristen's with us. If the people who don't want to pay leave comments like, this is ridiculous, I shouldn't have to pay, do you delete those comments? Those comments I got were by email, so they would email me and basically I would give on my email newsletter, I'm like, you guys know I'm giving stuff on my email newsletter, but then of course at some point there's going to be an offer to sell them something because here's the big thing. I know that my courses and membership sites help people. So by me selling something is really me putting an offer on the table for them to step up and invest in themselves to get the support that they need to reach their goals and dreams too. That's more of a conversation about sales and kind of not being salesy and not feeling salesy. But to me, that's my way. But yeah, they'll respond. One person left a 0-star review for me on Facebook, because I did that, because I sent her an email and I sold her, I think, like a $10 course or something, right? Like, that's just crazy. But we responded to her right away, and she ended up deleting that bad review, which is great, because we like 5-star reviews. Hint, hint. Okay. Jua says, thanks for the transparency. You are welcome. Tracy says, me too. It's pathetic when you say you want a photographer for Christmas just for headshots. Okay, I think I'm like going backwards here. Let's try and go back up here. Okay. Oh gosh, we got some good questions coming up. Oh, you guys have been busy commenting here. Okay, Hillary says, someone really smart recently told me that if everyone is completely arguing with you, you're not really putting yourself out there. So if you're getting some disagreement, consider yourself, I don't know what cut off there. Everyone is completely agreeing with you, you're not really putting yourself out there. Yeah, you got to put yourself, that's what this whole My Startup story is too, to really put yourself out there, and to be completely honest. What about competition? What if they come up to criticize your work? It's really nasty. It has happened to me on my Facebook account. That's yucky. I mean, to me, if you're copying, like, I could see them being upset for that, but if they're just criticizing, so overall, long-term, people are going to see that stuff. I mean, they're not going to succeed, and I think that's really important to just kind of let go as well. You can delete Facebook comments on your Facebook page. That's what I would do for sure. If they are putting comments publicly on your Facebook page, you can delete and block them. Vaso Anna, identifying my ideal client is something I'm really struggling with. It seems I can't make up my mind about my niche. Okay, so just keep sticking with it. Don't give up. It's always nice to stick with one niche when you're beginning, but I know, sometimes in the beginning you just have to start talking to multiple to see who starts coming to you more, who you enjoy working with more, and who has the money to pay for you as well. I know when I started, I wanted to work with college students. That was like my market. That's who I loved working with, but they didn't have the money to be able to pay for me. So I realized that that was not going to work. So just keep sticking with it. Keep moving forward with it, and it'll become clear. Anne was with us. Hi, Anne. Anna says, how did you come up with your business? How did you know what you wanted to do? And how did you start out? Wow, that is a whole other Facebook Live, Anna. Oh, goodness. We've changed so much, too. So from when I started, it was a blog. We'll have to post some articles we have a lot of them about how Classy Career Girl over the last 7 years has changed and grown and why we started it. I'll have to share some of those as well, Anna, for sure. I don't have enough time to dive into that today, but I love that question, so we'll dive into that in the future. Focus, Jua says, yes, I am a focus girl. Kristen says, consistency is very important, and your energy and how passionate you are is so important. For on a running, your energy and passion for the topic just jumps off the page and the screen. Awesome. I am passionate. I mean, I think that is really important, and that's something that's often missed when you're learning or when you're teaching people. And a lot of the other business training programs too, I may not have this whole section of really determining what your ideal career fit is too. So I think when you're starting a business, it's really important to really take all that stuff into consideration too. What's the best ideal career fit for you? What is the best business for you? What is the best business model for you? There's so much of my career coaching background that comes into really designing the right business for you. So I'm glad that my passion is jumping off the page, because I am a little passionate about it, and I could talk for hours about it. John has actually given me a time limit in here, and he has already made sure that I don't, because you guys at CRP know, I can talk about this forever. Samantha says, love it, very inspiring. Jua says, can we get a mini course or something about how to use your strengths for business? Yes, one is actually coming up. I know it will be for CRP members at the end of this month. That we actually have, I already pre-recorded it. with my mastermind partner and Gallup Strengths certified coach, Becky. It's coming out later this month. If you're not in CRP, we may be putting that same training on the podcast, on YouTube, probably in the new year. Claire, hey Claire. Claire says Strengths Finder is so good. It's scary. Yes, sometimes it's scary. I know. I need to dive deeper into it. Jua says, okay, I need to take 30 minutes and think about my personal strengths. Yes, for sure. Definitely think about that. Another key is to ask other people what they think your strengths are as well. That's something that can be really eye-opening too. There's also a free strengths test on VIA Institute that anyone can take. Pretty helpful. Awesome. Thanks for helping us out here. Samantha says, fear of putting my family in debt to start my business. Okay, so make sure I just talked about that in the question just a couple minutes ago too. So I hope that you heard that, Samantha. Thanks for sharing that link. Thank you. You guys are helping each other out. Awesome, guys. Hi, Ida. Ida's with us. Very awesome. Say hi to Ida, everyone. She's our community manager in our membership sites, and she is amazing. And she's I picked her to be my accountability partner for the challenge. So that's one thing too. If you don't have an accountability partner, partner up and find someone in our group. We have over 35 women in here, and they're amazing. You guys rock. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining me. Stay tuned for tomorrow morning. You'll get day 2 in your email inbox. And I'll keep you posted when our next Facebook Live training is going to come up. But I've got some fun things in store for you guys. So I hope you guys all have a good day. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone.